You better strap in for this edition of Inside More. We'll show you how a Moore family is taking sport to a whole new level. And we'll show you how one new business in Moore is taking the fear out of that dreaded school subject, math. But first, we'll look at some past, present, and future City of Moore road projects. That's all coming up right now. Cars, cars, and more cars. For the city, it's a sign of a healthy, vibrant community. But with increased population comes the problem of maintaining and expanding the city streets.
A lot of these problems have generated due to the growth, and the traffic patterns change on a regular basis in this community. Every time we open up a new big box retailer, or maybe even a restaurant, Warren Theater, that's a destination point. And we want to get the citizens to and from these facilities. We feel like these citizens should have good roads to drive on, good accessibility to where they need to go to shop or school or church or whatever the case may be. And that's our job, is to provide the infrastructure to this community, and roadways and accessibility is a critical part of that.
And the city has answered the call, investing heavily in widening existing streets and rebuilding roads in disrepair. But as 2014 winds down and the calendar turns to 2015, the city will be investing in road updates at a whole new level. Look no further than the improvements to Broadway between Northwest 5th and Northwest 18th as a sign of what is to come.
We're almost complete with that. We're just doing the punch list now and just the cleanup. And the improvement included resurfacing, and then we added sidewalks on both sides of Broadway.
Move down Broadway to 19th Street and you'll see a huge reason why the next city road project will be at this intersection.
As soon as we were assured that Sam's was moving in there at 19th and Broadway, we immediately started talking to engineering firms about roadway improvements. There's a problem there today without Sam's being located at that intersection, and we knew we had to try to get ahead of the game.
The project at 19th and Broadway includes adding left turn lanes for those turning east and west onto 19th, as well as those turning north onto Broadway. The road will also be widened on 19th between Broadway and the interstate, allowing for more turn lanes and a bigger ramp going north onto the highway. All of this work coincides with the arrival of Sam's Club.
We feel like the improvements we're making will be able to move more traffic through in a more timely fashion. And I sincerely believe the improvements we're making will more than make up for the amount of traffic that Sam's will generate.
Beginning in about a month, drivers on a notoriously rough road will begin to see a massive overhaul. The well-traveled telephone road between Northwest 5th and Southwest 4th will be completely rebuilt.
What we'll do there, we'll rebuild the bridge box there located by Fairmore Park, and then we'll tear out the entire roadway from Northwest 5th to Southwest 4th, and it'll be a 3-lane roadway with sidewalks on both sides. It's served its course. I mean, it's worn out. It carries a lot of local traffic, and it's a concrete roadway.
But perhaps the biggest upcoming project for the city is in the hands of voters. City Council recently approved a $15 million bond project to build an overpass at Southwest 34th Street and I-35. Studies by traffic engineers have indicated that an overpass would reduce traffic on 19th Street by as much as 25%.
That in itself would make a significant difference in the flow of the traffic on that 19th Street corridor between Broadway and Santa Fe. What it would do is keep a lot of the local traffic off of 19th Street, and then it'll help accessibility to some of the retailers between 34th and 19th.
Voters must approve the 15-year bond, which raises homeowners' property taxes modestly in the first year of the bond and then decreases each year after that. A homeowner with a $125,000 home would only see a yearly increase around $70 the first year, with only a $26 increase in year 15. Stan Drake points out that a 34th Street overpass would have a bigger impact on more than just traffic congestion.
The number one issue is safety. There's times you can't get an ambulance through parts of that 19th Street corridor, especially when the railroad is blocked at 4th Street. Well, that pushes a lot of that traffic south to 19th. I seen a time, I witnessed an event there where an ambulance had to sit and stop and wait on cars to move over to move through that section between Broadway and Tower Drive.
The city recommends drivers use alternate routes if possible while construction begins on 19th and Broadway.
The commuter traffic, if you could use maybe Eastern or to 4th Street, avoid that area for the next several months. Now, one thing we will do, we'll start that project within the next 2 weeks, but we will stop construction during the holiday season.
The city also has designs on widening intersections at 4th and Telephone, improving traffic flow on 19th Street in front of Target, and many more in the next 2 years. But with all these improvements, the goal is simple: make driving around the city easier, safer, and quicker for more residents.
Sprint car racing. It's not for the faint of heart. Which makes it incredible that the Cole family has two hardcore racers who can't even get a driver's license.
At first it's nerve-wracking, and then once it just kicks in and you're like, wow, you're fast and you just want to win.
It makes me very nervous. I really didn't want her to race. However, her daddy wanted her to race, so I allowed her.
Heck, you can't blame Brandon for wanting his two oldest kids, Kaylee and Caden, to follow in his footsteps.
Started racing in '99, and then I raced all the way up to 2008 or 9. With the kids racing, I don't have any time for them to succeed. I need to work on their cars, so that's why I've stepped aside right now.
So bumps and bruises be damned. This Moore family is fully invested in a sport that comes with great risk and reward.
It's like an addiction. Like, you always want to be better, you always want to go faster, you always learn something. Even if you don't do good, you learn something every week.
The adrenaline of flying across a dirt track at 50 miles an hour brings the entire Cole family to I-44 Riverside Speedway in South Oklahoma City.
Well, all my family pretty much comes out to the racetrack. My peepaw, my Mimi, my grandpa, my grandma, my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister, my Uncle Bubba, my Aunt Katie. They're all out there pretty much.
And they are often treated to a competitive show between the two Cole drivers.
I mean, Caden's racing, so that means I have to do better than him because we always got to do better than each other.
But the risk of injury is always present, and on this day,
Caden had his first big crash last week, and I was pretty scared for him.
a little cut up, but Caden is no worse for the wear. But seeing the kids get into wrecks can be hard to watch for the Cole parents.
I'm pretty sure the first time she crashed, I started crying. Ran down there in the infield to check and see if she was all right. She had to get in the ambulance. They thought she had a concussion. So that time was very nervous. And then she had a wreck this year, and she flipped with another car, and they both entangled in each other. And I was nervous on that one also.
I have crashed 5 times. It's been pretty bad. I mean, you get over it. Winning's worth it.
Despite the danger, the Cole family has fun each weekend they go to the track. It's a commitment the whole family has made that involves a lot of work.
Racing, you have to work on the cars all week, and on Saturdays, you can't do anything on Saturdays with your friends. You can't go out. You have to be committed to racing. You never get a weekend off, really.
Kaylee wants to take her passion for racing and make it a career. And while you may think dirt tracks and fast cars are just for the guys, think again.
Once they're in a race car, they're all race car drivers. That's the way I feel about it. There's plenty of women that race that are very fast.
A tough, close-knit Moore family The Coles prove that you always need the supportive family and friends to get across the finish line. Visit I-44RiversideSpeedway.com to see point standings for Kaylee and Caden's racing divisions and a schedule for upcoming races.
Math can be one of the most difficult and confusing subjects for anyone. The Mathnasium is here to change that misconception with its brand new location in Moore.
Mathnasium is a math learning center focused on developing children's foundational math and critical thinking. We work with parents, explaining to parents how our program works, and then working with kids to help them understand how we can help them. Our first center was in North OKC by Quail Springs Mall, and we have a group of parents that are coming from Norman and Choctaw and Midwest City and more, and they have requested us to be a little closer to their homes, and we felt this is a great time to do it.
The Mathnasium is here to help struggling kids understand their lessons at school, as well as preparing any student for those big ACT and SAT tests. They are developing lifelong skills not only for the classroom today, but for the real world tomorrow, setting every student on the path to success.
Math skills are important no matter what you do. I don't think I've come across a job where you don't use math. Even if you don't have a job where you use math, you've got to use it in life. If you're gonna make money and pay bills, you need to know math, even if just for that. And so I think what we do here gives kids a great foundation for whatever they decide to do with their lives, whether they want to go into a math, engineering, physics discipline, or whether they want to go into biology, art. Math is still going to be used frequently no matter what they do, and I think this gives them a really good foundation.
When you're trying to do the basic functions in life that are really just percentages and addition and subtraction, that's when this comes in handy. Because a lot of our kids are from 3rd grade to, I would say, about 8th grade. You're going to need to know percentages and how to set up proportions in order to figure out, budgeting in the future when you have your paycheck. It's important that they understand that the little things they're doing now will come back in the future, so that they are not struggling to get percentages later on, because if you get your first paycheck, how much a shirt's going to be if it's 30% off? Can you buy it? Can you not? And so it's one of those things where it comes back when you're in your teens and when you're an adult.
We make math make sense through the eyes of the students. For example, multiplication is one of those instances. Most kids are learning, 4 times 3. They're trying to memorize the multiplication table. The way we teach our kids is we phrase it, let's say 4 3 times. And when we say that, most kids, their eye just pop open and they go, oh, well that's just 4 plus 4 plus 4. Now they understand the true meaning of multiplication. They don't have to memorize that table, so that their table doesn't have to end at 12 times 12, but it can go way beyond that.
And that's what we try and do here. We try to make math make sense to kids and explain it to them in a way that relates to them as opposed to necessarily how we learn it. Because a lot of the things I teach here aren't how I learned them in school. And it's an adjustment learning to teach them like that, because that's not how I learned them, but it makes a lot more sense to the kids, and that's what's important.
Math is more than just memorizing formulas and tables. It's about recognizing patterns and understanding how numbers relate to each other.
There was a boy back in Texas, and he, for the longest time, could not add. So we have this program where we call it numerical fluency, and what that is it just really harps on addition, and it does 2 plus 3, 4 plus 1, just the simple basic facts of addition. At the end of it, he was 5th grade level, and he was really originally 3rd grade was where he was stationed. So at the end of the year, he ended up at a 6th grade, almost 7th grade level, and he was just going to go into 6th grade.
This is way better than school, and everybody needs to come here that has trouble with math. In school, the teachers, they don't have time to explain. They don't have time to go up to every single student and say, do you got it, do you got it? You just gotta go, you got it? Okay, good, let's go.
But here, teaching is different.
They focus on you and not 30 people at a time.
We've been here 2 weeks. Before, it was I need help, I can't do this, and now it's I'm getting this. And I think it's one of the best hidden secrets here in Moore.
If your kids are struggling with math, go onto our website and take the quiz. It's a short little quiz based on grade level, and if they're able to do it mentally without paper and pencils, great, they're doing well. If they're having struggles or they have to use paper and pencils to think it through, please give us a call and we can help.
And for a limited time, internal assessments are free for your student. This new business brings a better understanding of math, the Mathnasium, another great business for an even greater community.